Hey everybody, Kyle here with Spicer Designs. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we are going to be doing an upgrade on my Kimron XH26D. We're going to be adding a 3-way diverter on the stick for any kind of auxiliary attachments. When I bought this machine, I bought it with a 24-inch smooth lip hydraulic tilt bucket, and the hydraulics weren't quite set up right, so I was never able to use it. But today, we're going to fix that. We're going to do everything with quick couplers. It's going to be a really nice setup. So in order to get the new 3-way diverter valve on here, I'm going to have to rip all this shit off. I mentioned this before in a previous video, the hose management on the stick of the XH26D, it's a little bit out of hand. It's a lot of stuff that can get caught on branches or anything and put production at a halt. Put on my surgeon gloves. Huh. Whoa. Okay, I'm gonna trim off all my tie wraps, which is kind of a janky setup anyway. This hose right here, this is for the hydraulic quick coupler. Now the hydraulic quick coupler is an additional option which pushes the bucket away from the end of the stick a good 10 inches or so. And this is the only part that is not hard pipe like the rest of it, all the way back to the valving. So after we disconnect that, all we're left with is the hose from the hydraulic cylinder coming in the bottom and the main hydraulic feed coming to basically this shutoff. So we are going to replace this and replace it with this, the 3-way diverter. This line that's feeding it will come into the side, and out of the bottom will be the quick connect for any kind of additional attachment we want to use, like the tilt bucket, and out of the top will come out and go right to the hydraulic cylinder. So this will have to get trimmed down so it can go right into the top. But as far as I see it, anytime we can shorten some of these crazy hoses, it's going to be better for sure. Clean up this stick. No one likes a dirty stick. First, I'm going to shut it off. Next, I want to tie off the thumb to the stick or something so that once I disconnect it, it doesn't just want to fall and splooge out all of that hydraulic fluid. But I don't think I have a freaking strap in here. Damn it! All I have in here is this little piece of rope that will double it up. It's freaking crazy like that. Do a little clove hitch action. My buddy Adam from Indy Farm Life, he really likes my clove hitches. He's thoroughly impressed by them. That's a nice knot. Now we can disconnect. Actually, I'm going to disconnect here first. We are going to have to deal with some hydraulic fluid. All right, let's go ahead and crack this open. I'll bust this sucker loose. That's not bad. And I'm going to go ahead and remove the old shutoff so we can start fitting up the new one. Alright, there is the old shutoff. And it looks like this mounting plate is tapped all the way through. I can see all the way to the inside of the stick here. Pretty quick to get that pulled apart. I'll have to do the same thing to this side. But just as a comparison, here is the old one. And there is the new one. The main hydraulic feed is going to come on the side, and then we'll have our 2 auxiliary ports right here, which you can switch with this valve. So the bolt pattern is different. The new one just has the 2 holes there. This one was using opposite holes, so I will have to probably drill and tap the block on the stick to match the new diverter valve. So here are our 2 3-way diverter valves. And they're going to have to be orientated like this. So coming in the side, we're going to have a 1/2-inch NPT fitting. It's going to screw into here. Oh, what the hell's going on right now? Maybe it's that one. So that's going to screw into the side, like so. And it has that O-ring, I believe that's like an emboss or something like that fitting. I'll try to do my best to leave all of these fittings in the description. I picked up most of these fittings from titanfittings.com. The other one was One Hydraulic. I'll leave all the links in the description. I'll do the best I can to leave all these fittings. It's been a while since I purchased them, so I'll have to do a little refresh. Then coming out the top, that is going to go to the hydraulic thumb. And that is going to be this fitting. It's gonna have another O-ring on it. It's gonna screw into the top. And then this fitting will get crimped on after we cut that hose. And this, I believe, is a JIC fitting. And that will screw into the top just like that. At the bottom, we're going to have another one of these O-ring fittings. And then we're going to have a 45-degree fitting. And then I believe that this is a 1/2" NPT thread. And this is what's going to thread into our quick couplers. And this will screw into the bottom and kind of turn off at a little bit of an angle. I think the reason for the 45 was because once this thing is in there, it's going to be kind of right over here where this little flange is, and it's going to be real hard to get that in there. There won't be a lot of space, so if it's off at an angle, then you can just kind of come in from the side a little bit and clip it in. I know this is quite the contraption, but I had a lot of trouble trying to find all of these fittings. So I ended up picking up this little hydraulic adapter. It's an international fitting identification kit. Very cheap. It's just plastic cutouts. It's got different threads on it, different openings for the diameter of the fitting. So I will leave an Amazon link for this down in the description. It is pretty helpful to have. All right, so if this thing mounts right here, this will come off at an angle. It'll give us room to just pop that in. If it was straight, it would be all right into here into these pivot points. I just don't think that would work out. And then you can see this hose will get shortened up. It's gonna come over and just turn right down into this, so that'll be nice and clean. And then out of this 90, this one is gonna connect right to it. Now, in all honesty, the smaller machines, the Kimrons and most of the Chinese machines, they already have a 3-way diverter valve on them. I'm not sure why the larger ones kind of skimped out on them, but they do. So this is something that I would love to see on these machines, just kind of standard, because finding these parts and then doing the install is a bit of a pain in the ass. And between all of these hydraulic fittings that I had, some of them are gonna end up being extras because it was a little bit of trial and error. I have well over $500 in fittings. I think that these 3-way valves alone were like $180 a piece. Not the cheapest upgrade. We are going to be removing the one fitting for the main hydraulic line out of the old valve body. Now, if I figured out all my fittings right, this should connect to our new stuff. So here is the 90 that it's going to connect to, and I got this coupling that should adapt from this, oh yeah, to this. I mean, unfortunately, this is what I had to do. I didn't want to have all these different adapters. Trying to find the right fittings, 90 degrees, and from an NPT thread or an emboss thread to the British pipe thread, it was a freaking nightmare. So this is what I came up with. All right, so I turned the valve so it would divert to the quick connect. That way I could hook up this main line and nothing else will leak out of here. So now I just need to drill and tap this. I'll have to go to the hardware store and get some new hardware for this. I did not get that yet. Smells like gear oil in here. All right, it is the next day. Before I called it a day yesterday, I had broken a tap when I was trying to tap the stick to mount the new diverter valve. And you can see I have the welder out because I was trying to weld a nut onto the tap, which is kind of hard because it's like a hardened steel. But I got really close, so I'm gonna keep trying today. I think I can get it because I really hate to relocate those holes. There's not a lot of real estate there and it's right where I want them. So in order to save some time, only make one trip, I wanna go ahead and get the hydraulic hoses for the thumb trimmed down for the new diverter valve. So I could take them to my local Napa, get the fitting pressed on, and then I can go pick up the new tap that I need because I don't have any taps left. The one I was using was kind of a piece of shit. I usually don't break taps. It happened though. I gotta figure out where I'm gonna temp this thing up. I think I could put a clamp on there. Yeah. Ah, damn it! That didn't feel good. Ah, I want to have a little extra on this thing. What I really need is a tie wrap right there. There's my mark. I'll get the other side done and we can cut it. Now we're going to use my new Evolution metal chop saw. This thing is freaking insane. Huge thanks to Andrew from the Kelly's Country Life. He hooked me up with Evolution and they sent this thing out to me. I've never had a saw like this before. I've always used a porter band or like a 4-inch angle grinder to cut steel. This thing literally changes everything. Super fast, super clean cuts, very precise. And this thing is a miter saw, so I can actually change all the angles. It is amazing. If you're doing any kind of metal work, this is the ticket, hands down. And I'll have links for this with a discount code. Unfortunately, the discount code doesn't work on this particular saw, but it works on most of their other tools and products that they have. They're kind of the leader, I would say, in metal cutting. And this is the S355 MCS. It's a 14-inch blade. The only downfall on these saws is they do throw out a lot of metal chip. You're either gonna get metal chips or metal dust. I'll take the metal chips. All right. Hell yeah. All right, I'm gonna do a test cut on this thing because I've never cut a hydraulic hose with this. Yeah. Okay, I like it. Off to Napa. Napa know-how. All right, I finally got that tap, the broken tap, out of the hole by welding on a nut. That worked. I mean, it worked. Just a side note, our captain sent me this new welding hood a while back. It's their Hyperview welding hood. This thing is freaking awesome. It really is. And they're really reasonably priced. I think this welding hood is under $100. It's got a huge view on it. It's got all of your adjustments right here if you want to weld with it or grind with it. It's got all your sensitivity and your shades. And I'm not sponsored by Defiant Metal, but I absolutely love these welding gloves. These are actually TIG gloves, but I use them for everything because you have so much dexterity with them. You can grab a nut or small piece with them. It's real easy. And I'm also not sponsored by Knox FR clothing, but I love this welding jacket. It's really nice. Again, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just telling you what works for me and what I've liked so far, because when I was looking for these things, it'd be nice to have a little insight. But I'll leave links for the stuff all down in the description. I believe everything I have, I can leave Amazon links for, so easy. Easy, freaking easy. Now I could finally assemble this shit. All right, I got this side all drilled and tapped, so I'm ready to mount the new valve body. I've got some M6 by 1 pitch. These are 50 millimeters or about 2 inches long. So that bolt head will fit right inside this little recessed area. Perfect. And it kind of needed to do that because if there was any kind of a shoulder on it, it would be hitting this section right here where you turn the valve. That's why I'm using an M6. Let's go ahead and get this thing mounted up. So far, I'm pretty happy with the way this is looking. All right, now let's fit on our hydraulic hose. Beautiful. That looks so much cleaner than looping all the way around and coming in the bottom. This setup is how it should come. All right, I'm going to repeat the same process on this side. No need for you to watch it twice. And then we can turn it on and test it for leaks, and I'll throw that tilt bucket on there and we'll see if it actually works. Yeah! I did a little reset, put all the tools away, swept everything up. This thing is done. Well, we gotta test it. But the hydraulics, in my opinion, look a lot cleaner. And then, of course, we've got our quick connects on each side. So you can see everything is tucked in pretty tight on the stick. Much better setup. Now, the quick coupler hydraulics, there's just not much to do with those. Ideally, it'd be great if they ran through the center, right here and down, and can be tucked in, all that linkage somehow, but if the next owner wants to mess with it, they can. And over here on the tilt bucket, I went ahead and put the quick connects on the other end. The hydraulic hoses do come with this tilt bucket. I got that from Kimron when I bought the XH26D. Without further ado, let's try this sucker out. First, scoot this over here, somewhere here, so I can snag it. Right now I have that valve set on the thumb. We'll make sure the thumb functions like it did before. And we need to check for leaks. Thumb still works. I don't believe there's any hydraulic fluid in the cylinder right now. That's why the bucket's just kind of flopping around. Before I switch over the valve, I'm gonna get these hooked up so there's no, there shouldn't be any pressure on them anyway. Hopefully everything just clicks in real nice. Oh yeah, this is such a better setup here. Yeah. Okay, now I'll flip it over. Looks like the thumb dropped a little bit. Let's see if it drops more. No, that's it. The thumb should hydraulically be locked and stay in place, which is what we want. All right, I'll leave the camera right there. It looks like everything is gonna clear pretty nice. Let's fire it up and see what happens. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That thing is ramming, holy shit. It's ramming into the side of this. You can't even use it. Are you kidding me? How do you freaking sell this like that? What the f? That's so stupid. Unfreaking real. Well, there's one way. It's like all the hose is clear nice, so that's, except for right there, might be a little tight. Holy shit. This is the problem with the foot pedal on hydraulics. I want to see if there's any slop in this bucket while the hydraulic... I mean, that's what the hydraulics hooked up. Hopefully there's just an air pocket in there or something, because that's not good. Okay, I've seen enough. All right, I've honestly been really excited about getting this tilt bucket hooked up, even though I now have the Bobcat E35. I still really like the Cimarrons. I was excited about using this tilt bucket when I bought this thing almost a year ago. The way it was configured, I never really could hook it up. I guess it's kind of confusing. When I bought this machine, I would expect that when I bought that bucket, it would hook right up, and that's really not the case. Obviously, this three-way diverter is a much better setup. It's clean, it's easy. If you want to run an auger or whatever, you can leave the thumb hooked up, change the valve, the thumb stays in place hydraulically. That's great. But the fact that the design of this tilt bucket with the hoses is ramming into itself, it'll literally, if I went any further, it would have destroyed this hydraulic fitting right here, and I would have been freaking screwed. So it obviously needs a different fitting on it. Probably a 45. This one's okay. I don't think I have another 45 for that. I'm gonna have to find a freaking fitting for this thing now before I list it for sale, because I don't want to sell it to someone like this. If you buy a Chinese excavator, you better be able to work on your own equipment, because there's a very good chance that you're gonna have to do modifications, mess with hydraulic fittings, hoses, etc. Anyways, I'm going to order a 45-degree fitting for that, hopefully fix that. I'm gonna get this thing all cleaned up, looking like brand new, and get it listed for sale. So if you're interested in buying this machine, I know I have some hiccups there, I'll get that worked out. Go ahead and email me at spicerdesignsllc@gmail.com, and we could talk about price and everything that comes with it. Basically, you get the quick coupler, the tilt bucket, the digging bucket, and I have a 10-inch trenching bucket for it, and it's only got like 87 hours on it. And I just did basically the 100-hour service on it, even though it's not due yet. And I know you're thinking 50-hour service. No. According to the manual, the first components to be serviced are at 100 hours. And I will be posting that video after this one, where I do kind of a review on the machine before I let it go, and walk you through that 100-hour service. So be looking for that one if you're interested. Anyways, hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. And check the description. I'll have as many parts or part numbers as I can down there for the 3-way diverter. That way, if anything else leaks, it'll get Gotta wait for the Fast and the Furious drift car to drive by there.